Hey! Hey!
What?
When are you going to talk about the other classes? It's been months!
Oh. Balls, I 100% forgot. Probably should do that. So you put on your big adult pants and actually started playing Final Fantasy XIV. After smacking around small animals and questioning why city leaders aren't trusting you with sending messages in their stead after being knocked unconscious by a rock, you are slowly getting the hang of the game. But after skipping innumerable cutscenes and party matching against Sastasha one too many times, you feel your soul salivating to try something new. A new class perhaps, but not just the base classes, no. You want to play with the big boys who put their wallets in a summoning circle and pray daily that Yoshi P will bless them with female Hrothgars. I will only be going over the classes that you cannot obtain without going beyond the base game of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. That means I'll be talking about classes available in the free expansion Heavensward, the expansion that makes you start paying Stormblood, the expansion that made everyone scream in fearful delight Shadowbringers, and the most emotional 10 out of 10 expansion Endwalker. And don't worry, I won't spoil the expansion stories. This video will only focus on the classes available in them at their face value. So, what classes can you unlock later in Final Fantasy XIV? Ninja. Before you shove off to fight dragons and whatnot beyond A Realm Reborn, stop by Limsa Lominsa for a bit and you'll find the Rogue class, available at a measly level 10. This DPS class relies on daggers to stab enemies and be all around sneaky. Later on, you'll learn the ways of the ninja, combining buttons for stronger and faster attacks at the risk of summoning a rabbit on your head if your fingers don't obey your brain. Don't be intimidated though. Practice a little bit at any combat dummy and you'll be a master in no time. Plus, you get to Naruto run as you sprint, so have fun with that. Dark Knight. Do you like Berserk? Do you hate cops? Are you a broody, moody, depressed individual who needs to exert their anger out to The Sound of Silence by Disturbed? Then grab a giant sword and become a Dark Knight! Once you hit level 50 and enter Heavensward, you'll be guided to a quest that will introduce you to the class, surrounded by arguably the best class story in Final Fantasy XIV. Dark Knights get incredible dark powers, including the best damage mitigation in the game, and they are the featured class of Shadowbringers, so massive ego boost for you. Machinist. I heard you like guns. How about some more guns with your guns and we'll throw in a robot for free? Machinist is a DPS class available in Heavensward that teaches you the true power of bringing a gun to a sword fight. You'll be shooting enemies at long range like a bard, but you'll also get a freaking flamethrower because you're that much hotter of a class! Did I mention the robot? Yeah, you actually do get a robot that you can throw into battle with you. I wasn't kidding about that. Tech is your friend and you produce the highest DPS of the ranged DPS classes because you don't care about buffing the party, you only care about your bullets landing between your target's eyes. Astrologian. If you ever wanted to emulate those TikTok tarot card readers but actually support others instead of recording a million videos for clicks, Astrologian is the class for you. Like before, get to Heavensward and you'll come across a quest that will shove a deck of cards into your hand and demand your fealty to the stars every time you draw from it. Astros are a support healing class that relies on drawing cards to give buffs, healing, or fuck all depending on whether or not you get accommodations from your party. Being a healer is already a challenge, but do you believe in the heart of the cards? Every class has a joke and yours is Yu-Gi-Oh! Deal with it! Samurai. If the way of the blade calls for you, but you refuse to be a tank, then give Samurai a shot once you purchase the expansion Stormblood. Samurai is a DPS class that hands you a sword and expects you to know which side of the blade is the sharp one. You want to do that cool ability you saw in Stormblood and Shadowbringers trailers? Gather stamps with the blood of your enemies and exchange them to the invisible deity watching over you to slice through your enemies like a hot knife through butter. Patience, young samurai. You will earn that blood on your blade and become a master swordsman soon enough. Red Mage. Are you indecisive when it comes to choosing between a physical or magical DPS class? Well, you can have your cake and eat it too with Red Mage, available in Stormblood. Cast magic at long distance until you feel the need to slide in and stab him in the nose with your rapier. Huzzah! You hit the enemy, but before they can hit you back, you can jump away and return to being the titular mage once again, safely away from arm's reach. At higher levels, you can even resurrect your fellow players, making you feel ballsy enough to hit that LP3 and blind every single player in the raid.
My eye!
Gunbreaker. Can't decide between a gun and a sword? Are you one of the 3 people that likes Final Fantasy VIII unironically? Either way, Gunbreaker is a tank class in Shadowbringers you can start at level 70 that will hand you a sword that is also a gun. Who would have guessed? You feel like you're cheating the system with a combat style similar to a DPS class while being too pretty and hunky for the enemies to ignore. You want DMC? You want Gunbreaker. You are indeed one of the more flexible tank classes in the game, while honoring a past Final Fantasy title that will never be properly remade because it lives in 7's shadow. Dancer. Fellow practitioner of the art of dance. Grab your finest shoes, take up the sharpest blades, and glide around the battlefield like the true lead in the spotlight that you are. Dancer is a ranged DPS class introduced in Shadowbringers that allows you to play DDR on your keyboard and look good doing it too. You attack and bedazzle your enemies from afar while seducing your dance partner and the rest of your party with supportive buffs and healing. Fear not the stage or the players, but the elegance you'll exude from your beautiful body as you outshine everyone around you in grace and pride and not damage. Sage. Have you Ever wanted to shove the Scholar's Fairy into a blender and use its viscera to hurt your enemies and heal your friends at the same time? Sage is for you! After buying the Endwalker expansion, you'll get 4 floating things called Newlists that both supply power for your shields and heals, while firing lasers at your enemies as if you were replicating Shoop the Whoop from 2006! If you don't know what that means, you're too young to be on the internet. While everyone, including myself, will tell you that Sage is just Gen Z Scholar, at least you can actually hurt your enemies and get benefits from their spilled blood. Reaper, the hottest DPS class of Final Fantasy XIV that is only available when you buy Endwalker. If you like the aesthetic of Bloodborne while being angsty enough to be possessed by a dark force, Reaper is the class for you. With a cool scythe in hand, you'll sweep through your enemies like you're mowing down wheat fields on a farm while dreaming about being in the big city and becoming a star. Make sure you sign your soul away to a demon before you reap through your foes and show everyone exactly why you are the coolest DPS kid in school. Alright, we got through every single class in Final Fantasy XIV.
Actually...
There are no other battle classes that anyone needs to worry about.
You missed a class.
So make sure you comment down below what your favorite class is and...
What about Blue Mage?
Fine. Blue Mage. Do you like being overpowered as a magic class? How about being a mage that has its own challenge side quest that only few have actually completed? You want to spit fish at people because it's funny? Unlock Blue Mage and get ready to learn an entirely new system of battle. You learn your abilities by replicating what your enemies do and just doing it better. Is it a tank, healer, or DPS class? It can be any of them as long as you have the ability that lets you switch job types. But don't be fooled. You cannot play as a Blue Mage in the main story. Instead, you get a side competition in Ul'dah that you can work your way through for stronger abilities and a challenge log that will reward you with a braggable mount should you have the stones to do it. Blue Mage is for those who want a challenge because it is an unbalanced class meant for personal reward only. And you can do this. And now you have the basic information of every single battle class in Final Fantasy XIV. Go out there, slay your enemies, and let yourself drown in the emotions of the stories embedded in this critically acclaimed MMORPG.